A lot of talk at the moment about pubs, of course. Well, 360 odd pubs closed last year. This year they're talking about 560 pubs closing. But you know what? There's always another use for these pubs. Always. And let me explain exactly where we are with pubs and the opportunities there are as well. So during and after COVID, pubs were given a big discount on their rates they had to pay. Now, rates for pubs are totally different to other commercial buildings. The rates are worked out on the pub's estimated turnover. That's how it's worked out. And that's why some of these pubs are going to be paying an awful lot more rates than they are at the moment, because it's been subsidised for the last 5 years. So that's really the basis of where we are. Now, 560 closing this year, that's what they estimate, which is way over one a day, isn't it? Why? Less people using pubs. Young people don't seem to drink at all, which is probably a good thing. They're not going to the pub. Obviously, drink driving is an issue. We all know the issues as to why pubs are closing. There's far too many of them in the first place, just like there are far too many shops now. And a lot of these local authorities bury their head in the sand and think that community pub needs to remain open and all the rest of it. Now, to stop pubs or stop losing pubs, the local authorities can call it in as a community asset. So if it's the last pub in the village, they'll call it in as a community asset. And when they do that, it stops anybody being able to get planning on it until the community have decided whether or not they can raise enough money to buy it. Now, there's always some clever do-gooder who thinks running a pub's a good idea and pulls a load of other people along. Normally, they're the ones who put most of the money in to buy the pub. Now, I've been in a situation 3 or 4 times now where I've purchased a pub to convert it into a house, and then it's been called in as a community asset, and I've had to deal with these do-gooders who think that running a pub is easy, glamorous, anyone can do it. Well, there's a reason why it closed in the first place, and that was because these do-gooders in the local village didn't go to it. Anyway, of course, it gets a new lease of life for about 6 months, and then they all decide it's all hard work and unlikely to remain. I would say, however, in Ireland, where you have a pub, they convert it into a cafe in the morning, and there's probably a shop there as well. So that's much more of much better idea than just trying to run a pub on its own, in my view. Anyway, so if a pub is called in by the community as a community asset, you've got a big problem if you bought it, because a lot of these pubs look really cheap. They look like they're for nothing. They look like lovely big detached houses with a massive car park. Well, first of all, I don't think you can build on all the car park, because there's a mathematical calculation that says this, depending on the size of the actual pub, depends how many car spaces you need, and it's quite a lot. So don't think, oh, here's a pub, I'll keep the pub going, but I'll get rid of the car park, because that isn't going to happen. You might be able to reduce the size of the car park, but that's the best you can do. Now, I've had moderate success with pubs, so I've done 3 or 4, I think, and one I sold to the community because I just got fed up with waiting. They wouldn't give me planning until the do-gooders had decided whether they want it or not, so I just did a deal with them and got out and made a small profit. And sometimes that's the best thing to do. Move on, get your cash back and move on. The others, I have converted them. A lot of them are grade 2 listed, which obviously is more of a challenge. That's the other thing you've got to remember, is that even if you've got one that will just convert nicely back into a house, if it's grade 2 listed, there's a lot of work to do. So just remember that. So lots of opportunities with pubs. I feel sorry for some of the pubs that are going to have to close, but there's always another use for them. And you know what they say, if someone is struggling one end, there's someone that's going to benefit the other end, and the person benefiting needs to be you. If you're into property, then certainly looking at pubs, buying them, perhaps even reletting them as a pub or as a cafe. It could be commercial use. They don't have to go to residential, do they? But just be careful. Remember, no rates to pay if the pub's empty. If it's a listed pub, grade 2 listed or grade 2 star, you don't pay any rates. Otherwise, if it's empty and you buy it, you're on the hook for rates, and you could be a year or 2 getting planning. So do be careful. But like I said, there's always an opportunity. See you next time.